Hey everyone, are you looking to enhance your YouTube experience and stay up to date with the latest and greatest content? Then make sure to hit the like button and subscribe. Now sit back and enjoy the story.
It was a warm summer evening, and Sarah was on her way home from work. She lived in a busy city, and despite the crowds of people on the street, she always felt safe. But as she walked down the sidewalk, she couldn't shake the feeling that someone was watching her. At first, she thought it was just her imagination. She was tired from a long day at work and was probably just feeling paranoid. But as she walked, the feeling only grew stronger. She could feel someone's eyes on her, following her every move. Sarah quickened her pace, but no matter how fast she walked, she couldn't shake the feeling. She looked over her shoulder, but all she saw was a sea of unfamiliar faces. No one stood out as being suspicious. As she reached her apartment building, Sarah breathed a sigh of relief. She was safe now. She quickly walked inside and took the elevator to her apartment. But as she unlocked her door and stepped inside, she couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong. She walked from room to room, checking to make sure everything was as it should be. But no matter how hard she looked, she couldn't find anything out of place. She was just being paranoid, she told herself. She was tired and stressed from work, and her imagination was playing tricks on her. But the feeling of being watched wouldn't go away. Over the next few days, Sarah noticed that wherever she went, she was being followed. At first, she thought it was just her imagination, but as the days went by, she started to see the same people wherever she went. They were always at a distance, but she could feel their eyes on her. Sarah became increasingly scared and started to take precautions. She changed her routine, avoiding places she usually went, and taking different routes to work. But no matter what she did, the feeling of being watched only grew stronger. One evening, as she was walking home from work, she heard footsteps behind her. She quickened her pace, but the footsteps only got closer. She looked over her shoulder, and to her horror, she saw a man following her. He was dressed in all black and had a hood pulled over his head. Sarah started to run, but the man was faster. He caught up to her, grabbed her arm, and dragged her into an alleyway. She screamed for help, but no one came to her aid. The man pushed her up against the wall and held a knife to her throat. He told her that he had been watching her, and that he knew everything about her. He said that he would hurt her and her family if she didn't do what he told her. Sarah was terrified, but she was also angry. She had never felt so helpless in her life. She refused to be a victim and decided to fight back. With all the strength she could muster, she kicked the man in the stomach and ran back out onto the street. She ran as fast as she could, not stopping until she reached the safety of her apartment. She locked the door behind her and called the police. They arrived quickly and took her statement. They told her that they would do everything they could to catch the man who had attacked her. Over the next few weeks, Sarah was constantly looking over her shoulder. She was afraid to leave her apartment, and she was constantly jumpy and on edge. But as time went by, she started to feel more and more like her old self. She went back to work, and although she was still a little scared, she was determined to reclaim her life. And then, one day, the man who had stalked and attacked her was caught. The police had finally found him, and Sarah was relieved to know that she was finally safe. But the experience had left a lasting impact on her. She was now more aware of her surroundings and more cautious of who is around her. She made an effort to carry pepper spray and take self-defense classes. Sarah also became an advocate for victims of stalking and violence. She used her experience to raise awareness and help others who were going through similar experiences. She became a source of strength and hope for many people, and her bravery inspired others to stand up for themselves and fight back against their attackers. Despite the trauma she had faced, Sarah refused to let it define her. Instead, she used her experience to make a positive impact on the world and help others. She proved that even in the darkest of times, it was possible to come out stronger and more determined to make a difference. And so, Sarah's story became a legend, inspiring others to be brave and never give up in the face of fear and adversity. She showed that with strength and determination, it was possible to overcome any obstacle and emerge victorious.